Hey everyone, welcome into episode 6 of Flip the Script alongside real estate mogul Deba Douglas. Jared Sandler, happy to be here. You can check out all our past episodes. I post them on Instagram at jsandlonghorn. Deba Flips Texas on Instagram. Got a little Twitter action as well at Jared Sandler. You can go to longhorninvestments.com. We got the episodes up there. And then YouTube, the YouTube page, right? We got a YouTube page. Our executive producer, Michael Prager, helping to make this all happen along with Jake Rietma and Deba and her team, because Lord knows I should be a lot better at this social media stuff than I am. All right, so Deba, we're going to play a little game here for episode 6. Are you ready? Two games, actually.
Let's do it. I'm ready for it.
Myth or fact is game number 1. So I got some questions here. I got a little script I'm going to cheat off of because I can't remember all these questions. And then we got some quick tips. All right. Myth or fact, Deba, you need a lot of money to start investing.
That is a myth. I think with Longhorn Investments, all you guys need to see is $15,000 in the account.
Yeah, I didn't even come up with that question, but that puts it on a tee. Hey, the more money you have, the better, right? Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yes.
We don't want people who are living second to second hoping that the stock market doesn't go down half a point,
right,
and then all of a sudden they're out of money, right?
Yes.
I would advise, you've talked about the mentals before, I would advise that you're not on thin ice to where, oh my gosh, if one of those like normal, everyday, unforeseen things happens, like I don't know, you get an accident, like a fender bender, right? Like you shouldn't be on thin ice like that.
No.
But you see a house and you're used to the conventional mindset of, my gosh, I got to be able to bring 20, 30% down.
Yeah.
Like, no. Mm-mm. You don't need that. 15,000 for some deals gets it done. 20,000 gets it done. You'd be surprised. You can do some big boy deals and only have $50,000.
Absolutely.
And you are good to go, right?
Yeah,
Love
absolutely.
It. So that's definitely a myth that you have to have a lot of money. The more money, the better.
The better. It's more cushion.
Yep.
It makes everyone sleep better at night.
Yep. But you don't need to be a millionaire to get involved in real estate investing. All right. You have to wait for the market to crash before you buy.
No, because everything's going to pass you by. You got to just do it. So that is a myth. Just jump. Just do it.
Yeah. So don't ride that line. Try to see. Yeah. And then the other thing too is I think sometimes people get nervous about, well, what's it going to look like in 6 months?
Yeah.
One of the things you've always talked about is you got to be ready to be flexible.
Yes.
Maybe you go into a project and you're thinking, well, this is going to be a flip. All right. Well, what happens if the market crashes? We now the pandemic is an extreme situation. That's not, we might not have anything like that for decades.
Right.
But we had borrowers I know who I've worked with who had success because they went in, they were going to flip. No one was buying homes then, and they turned it into a rental.
Yep.
And they were able to have success. And then maybe they flipped it a year later, right?
Yeah.
But they were able to hold things over for a little bit.
Yes.
So you got to be able to roll with the punches.
You do.
All right, you need perfect credit to get a loan.
You do not need perfect credit, so that is a myth. Now, you do have to have a decent credit score. Like if you're not paying back what you already have, then no, you do not have no business getting into real estate investing. But as long as your credit score is at least 620, that is a good number, and you have the liquidity, you should be good to go.
And we're good at Longhorn, 600 or above, but I prefer 620.
Yeah.
I prefer 640.
Yes.
Right, 640 and up with us, it doesn't matter whether you're 640, 740, 800, 600 to 639. It's going to be a little bit of a tick up in rates, but 640 or above is great. And you brought something up about, hey, you shouldn't be paying off other things. Right. We have people that I had someone the other day. Hey, how are you guys with me having a second lien? No, we don't want that.
Right.
We feel like we are advancing enough money to where that needs to be enough, and if that's not enough,
then you're probably in the wrong entry right now.
Yeah. And sometimes people are like, well, I just looking for another way not to have money tied up. Okay, well then, that's just not going to work for us. You're going to have some money tied up,
Absolutely.
Right? But if you need a loan for a loan, now we're, I would say to that borrower, hey, why don't we take a step back? Now might not be the best time, because the best time, you talked about, hey, you can't wait for the market. The one thing you can wait for is when you're ready, right? You need to be ready.
Yes, absolutely.
And that can mean different things to different people. Someone who has $500,000 in the bank might not be ready because they're unorganized. They don't have their ducks in a row.
Right.
Someone might have all their ducks in a row, but only have $10,000, and they need a loan for a loan. And
Right.
Let's wait a little bit. Why don't we build it up, and then we'll get into the game.
Especially with Longhorn. I mean, there's other hard money lenders out there, but Longhorn does up to 100% financing. So if you really run the numbers correctly, you're literally coming to the table with just covering closing costs and points. So there shouldn't be a need that you would need another private lender to kind of cover that. But I know everyone each his own, but they're doing 100% financing. What else could you ask for?
Yep. No, I feel the same way. All right, now I do want to, there is a caveat, and it's perfect tie into our next one. The next myth or fact is you can't invest if you have student loans.
That is a myth. As long as you are up to date and that does not hinder your credit score and you have the liquidity, then you are good to go to invest with Longhorn.
And I would say, we said you don't want to have outstanding loans. You don't want things that are like super tying you up to where you don't have that freedom. But like student loans, car payments, a mortgage, maybe
that's normal.
Medical payment, for big things, and you need a payment plan. Like that stuff's. We're not saying you can't have that on the books, but you need to be on time for those payments, right?
Yeah.
You can't if you're getting behind on those payments. Then this isn't the thing for you right now.
Yeah.
Make sure you're caught up on all the other stuff, and if you can then add another payment that you need to be able to make monthly, and you're good with that, cool.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not that you can't have any loans. You can't be behind on loans, right?
Behind.
That's not good.
Yeah. There's one thing I always hear people ask is, what does my DTI need to be? And I'm like, that doesn't matter. Like, it's focusing on the credit score and focused on your liquidity. Because most people are so focused on the conventional loans and FHA loans that the DTI is the biggest component of if they can qualify or not.
Yeah. We just want to know, do you have the money to support the loan?
That's
right?
it.
And
DTI? Debt to income ratio.
Yeah,
So,
DTI, debt to income ratio. And so, and that simply means
based
money
on your
in,
debt,
money out.
Exactly. What's that percentage that you have? And if the higher it is, if you're buying a regular conventional loan or buying a regular house, the higher it is, the more riskier that loan is. So they're not necessarily going to lend you the money. But with Longhorn, it's a little bit different where it's focusing on the property, but you do have to have that credit score intact and you do have to have that liquidity.
Yeah. All right, myth or fact? Flipping is passive income.
A myth. Flipping is not passive income. That is your active income because you have to be focusing on the property, you have to be watching the market, and you're trying to get in and out within 6 months. So it's definitely not passive.
Now, a rental that can be once you got.
Yes.
But that's not, rental properties. Maybe we need to discuss that in a future episode because there are ways you can put yourself in a really good position to succeed with who your tenants are, right?
It's
not
all
just
about
first
the
come,
tenants.
first.
And I don't know if it's as passive as people want it to be. Like, there's some work that goes into it, but it does feel like passive.
Yeah. Okay, so now just some quick tips, right?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, first step if I want to flip a house is to do what?
First step, know your area, know your criteria, and know where you're going to find the property. Like, what are you going to do to find those properties?
All right, rookie mistake that still makes you cringe.
It's not your house. Do not flip this house as if you are going to live there. It's not your house. Focus on the comps in that area, and that's what you do.
All right, what's one way to spot a bad contractor?
If they're asking for like 20 to 30% in the front end before you even close on the property. They need your money.
Okay.
And so the reason why I say that is because they're pretty much in a deficit based on their prior property that they're working on. They need your money to finish that property and then slowly start your property. So if they're asking for a whole lot of money in the front end, that just tells you they do not have a strong financial understanding with their business. So they're wanting you to float a property before they can even start your job.
What's fair and reasonable if a contractor comes to you?
Free. They start with zero amount, but ideally, I know they have to get material. So I usually will try to give them 5% to start.
Okay. Is there what if they come back and say, sorry, 10%? Are you still? I mean, I know it's a negotiate, but that's not like we're not crossing into alarms. Okay.
No alarm, no red flags at 10%. I just like to kind of come in as low as possible because I'm building trust with them, they're building trust with me, and I just can't give you too much money, and then you run off, and then I start back at square one.
Are they honest when you ask them how many other active projects they have going on?
No.
Okay.
No. I just, in my mind, and I know my mentees are listening to this, they're like, Deba's going to say all contractors suck. They do suck. It's a mental thing. It's a mental mindset. Their mindset is not thinking about what you have in place in this vision. Their mindset is thinking about Friday, I need to get paid.
I just the contractor thing's so tough because I could talk to you, I could talk to MP, I could talk to 5 people, and they're like, oh, yeah, I love Steve the contractor. He's great. But like, what if I'm that one too many,
That one.
right?
Yeah. And it happens over and over again that I'm like, it's hard to put your finger on this is the best contractor because they work great for me and maybe they have something else going on in their lives and then they're not tracking their guys like they're supposed to and then all things can blow up.
Yeah. Okay, what's your go-to formula to analyze the deal?
75% of the ARV minus repairs. And I just focus on that. So I'm thinking of what is that ARV after repair value? When the house is updated and completed, that is what I'm striving for. And so I work backwards and say 75% of that minus the repairs. And if I am doing a house that is 1,400 square feet or less, I'm going to say my repair is just I just put a big blanket of $55,000 for my rehab. If it's more than that, maybe it's close to like 2,200 square feet, I'm going to say it's $65,000 in my rehab. And if I do those basic numbers and the numbers kind of sound right, then I'll do a little bit more research and try to figure out, okay, what's going on in that market? How many days on the market the house is sitting? Is it on a busy street? That's when I'll start doing a little bit more detailed investigation, but that's my basic, 75% of the ARV minus repairs.
All right, and I got thoughts on this one, but I want to get your thoughts first. What do you advise your mentees that they need to have ready before they come to us or talk to a lender?
Yes, I have them identify if they're going to run this as an LLC or if they're going to run it in their own personal name. I make sure that they have the liquidity and they have the money in their account ready to pounce. And I make sure that they have the credit score. If their credit score is kind of low, I get them connected with a credit repair person to kind of help them build that up. While they're doing all of that, I also have them going out and start researching areas, like drive around your neighborhood, drive around areas so that you already have an idea of what the houses are going for in that area.
And I would say, just to someone listening, we'd obviously talk to anyone at any stage, right? If you if you listen to this and you're like, oh, I've never heard of real estate investing, but let me talk to Longhorn, that's cool. We're not going to be like, sorry, come back later.
Right.
But I do think that the more educated you are, the more valuable those conversations become because now you're asking the right questions, right? So like if someone comes to me and reaches out, without any previous communication, I always, my preference is that they take a second to read over the introductory email that I've cultivated over a few years of trying to understand what basics are important. And that way our conversation can get right to kind of the 202 level stuff. Not the one, that's not to say I'm not cool with the 101, but if you have 5 minutes to read over a quick email, watch a quick 50-second YouTube video, I think that answers, that time's money, right? That's going to save time for you. That's going to save time for our ability to help you gain as much ground, right? But if someone's like, I don't like to read emails or whatever, we'll talk to you. But the one thing I do love about when I talk to your mentees is that the questions I get from them are usually more advanced. It's my conversation, like, I feel like I got a really good gist. I'm curious about this one mechanic or this one detail. And I think you know better what to ask when you've got some knowledge about the process. Make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because investing is kind of like, it's not something that people have to do. So when they do come to you, they're kind of like just funneling, trying to get some information. You want the people that are, hey, like you're really ready to do this. You're ready to execute. Because if they're not, they're just going to be asking questions and they kind of understand, but they really don't.
And they don't know what
they don't know what they don't know until it's too far in.
And the other thing I love about sending that initial email, it's all right there. You can read it. You don't have to remember it. You don't have to worry about writing it down. And because the reality is, if you don't know anything about hard money, there's a lot to it. And the other thing I tell people, if maybe they haven't listened to or read the email, I say, hey, why don't we cover these 3 things? And then why don't you take a second, absorb it, and then maybe we hook up tomorrow and discuss the next stuff. Because I always worry with people that, like, there are times I spend 45 minutes on the phone with someone, and I'm cool with that, right? That's what we're here for. But I worry that you only absorb 10 minutes of the 45 because it can be a lot of information.
It is a lot,
And I think a part of what our job is on the lending side is to make sure you understand. And from someone who came from academia and teaching, I'd much rather do it in bites if that's what you're going to understand than just unload everything and be like, figure it all out. To expect you to be an expert after one class, not going to happen.
Not going to happen,
right?
At all, because it's a lot.
Yeah. All right. Last thing, and this is not really a tip. It's not really myth or fact? Just what's one thing that's on your real estate mind right now?
Right now is the uncertainty with the economy. Like that's something that is real. I mean, if you're an investor or you're looking for your next home, that's something that's always on the forefront. But I will say, one thing I always try to push to my mentees and myself is we focus on affordable housing. No matter what the market is doing, I can always find someone that can go and get pre-approved to buy a house for $400,000 or less. And if I focus on those parameters, I'm going to always be able to flip a house. I'm going to always be able to turn into a rental property. And if I just stay in that area. So even as the economy is going the up and down roller coaster that it is right now, I know for a fact I can always find someone that can be pre-approved at $400,000.
Yeah, and I know people like the sexy, hey, I want 2 commas, right?
Yeah.
Hey, give me a house,
Right.
with a value, and that's great, and those deals can be good.
Yes.
But if the market's not going great, maybe people aren't buying,
Yeah.
right?
Those buyers because those buyers, they are watching the news. They know what's going on. So they're going to be a little bit more hesitant, like, you know what, let me just take a step back. Let me wait. But for your buyers that are $400,000, they're probably having to leave for work, or they're in different moments of their lives.
Yeah.
So it just makes it a little bit easier. And then the holding cost is not as high as $1 million compared to 400,000.
100%. All right, I think that's it for episode 6. That was fun. Myth or fact and some quick tips. I love it. Deba, thanks so much. We'll talk soon.
Love ya.
Love you too. There you go, Deba Douglas. Deba Flips Texas on Instagram. JSan Longhorn on Instagram over here. You go to longhorninvestments.com to check out more information about what we do. What's your website?
DouglasDwellings.com.
There you go. I always forget which one. It's
a lot going on.
I want to thank Michael Prager. Want to thank everyone for tuning in, and be on the lookout for episode 7.